Alright guys, so for me, kickflips are one of my favorite tricks, but also sometimes they're kind of hit and miss. Sometimes I feel like I'm really flicking them and catching them high like I want to, and other times I feel like I'm just doing these low barrel roll kickflips. And it feels like I'm starting from scratch, like learning how to kickflip again. No matter what I do, sometimes my kickflips are just gross, and I hate that. So today we're gonna be enlisting the help of Dan Corrigan, and we're gonna be using his Kickflip Masterclass to try and basically self-diagnose and self-fix, repair, I don't know, basically just get my kickflips looking good. So if you don't know who Dan Corrigan is, definitely check him out. He's got a YouTube channel, and he's got this like 17-minute video all about kickflips. Whether you're a beginner or you can already do kickflips, he basically goes through all of it. And there's one thing in particular in his video that stuck out to me, which is what I'm going to be trying to incorporate into my kickflips today in this video. Basically what he says to do is to basically lift up the back foot. So a lot of times we're so focused on flicking the trick that we don't think about actually getting our back foot out of the way.
When they flick off over here, usually they don't bring their back foot up either, and that is a huge part of kickflips, is you need to bring your back foot up and you need to kick your front foot out and slightly down, and that's what's going to suck it up to your back foot.
So if our back foot, if we don't lift it up, in order to kickflip, we've got to make some compromises. Number one, either we just flick the kickflip really low because we've got to get the flip to go underneath our back foot, which is already so low, or number two, we've just got to rocket flip it. That way the part of the board that our back foot is catching is still low enough for our back foot to grab it. So what he says to do is to start basically picking up that back foot. So flick and pick up that back foot. That way you give the board space and time to actually rotate up and come up to your feet. He says it's not necessarily that you're even doing the kickflip wrong as far as the flick goes. It could just be that you're not lifting up your foot and giving the board enough time to level out and rise up to your feet. So that's the whole concept of this video, is basically trying to see if that tip from Dan Corrigan can actually help get me more consistent kickflips and more comfy kickflips, because there is nothing better than having a confident kickflip and just feeling like you can kickflip on whatever you want and just feel comfortable to like really push the limits with your kickflips. And there's nothing worse than going from feeling in control of your kickflips to going to feeling like you can do them, but you're out of control the whole time. And that's what we're trying to fix today. So before we get into this video, if you do like these videos and you want to see more, go ahead and like and subscribe. That way YouTube will recommend more of my videos to you. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at The Local Joe. And remember to make every single day a Friday. If you want to get some Friday gear, the link will be in the description, along with all the things that I ride on my skateboard. You can use those links to help support the channel. Anyways, that's pretty much it. So let's head over to the skate park. It's just right over there, and then get a warm-up going. Alright, hopefully you can see me, but it's been a pretty good warm-up. The lights turned off, and then 20 minutes later they came back on. So the only thing about skating in skate parks is I feel like I can only do the same basic tricks over and over on different things. So hopefully this isn't too boring for you guys, but let's start figuring out our kickflips. So first I'm gonna try and do kickflips on flat. I haven't landed any kickflips yet, so you're gonna get the full progression from me starting to me hopefully improving my kickflips. Let's see if Dan Corrigan can fix my kickflips. All Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that session. It's a little bit different going to the skate park, especially when other people are there. I just feel like it's harder to work on the stuff that I want to work on because you're waiting for obstacles, as well as it's difficult to film. I don't want to get my tripod in anybody's way, but it was pretty dark, but hopefully you could still see those clips and enjoy them. But let's talk about these kick flips. So like I said, I wasn't really able to work on what I wanted to work on just because of the traffic, so I only did a few kick flips. But here are my thoughts about this tip from Dan Corrigan. So first off, I do feel like it helps. When you have the back foot in mind, it's almost like, I've got to figure this out in my head, like what's going on here, but it almost seems like when you're thinking about jumping and getting that back foot up, it changes the whole way that you jump into your kickflip, which ultimately somehow affects the way that you flick and everything, and your kickflips do end up higher just by thinking about getting that back foot high. Obviously, it's really easy to get your front foot high because that's the first foot to go up. That's, you know, flicking. There's no problem with that one. But really, the measure of whether or not you're actually getting your body weight off the ground is whether you can get the back foot up. And so even with just a few short kickflips that I did, you could tell that those kickflips are a lot better than most of the kickflips that I do on a regular basis. And I was also skating new shoes. Well, not new shoes, shoes that I just have been not wanting to skate because I don't really like the comfort levels of those Vans slip-ons. And with slip-on shoes especially, your flick tends to be really fast, which doesn't actually bode well for doing high kickflips because the kickflip gets done too soon before you can get it up high. But with Dan's tip, I was, even with the slip-on shoes and the fast flick, able to kickflip higher and really suck up my kickflip a lot better. So I definitely would recommend trying this tip from Dan Corrigan. Definitely helped me. I'm gonna keep playing around with it, and hopefully, you know, this can get me back to the point where I feel confident with my kickflips and can just like roll up and do a kickflip off something, rather than like right now it's like a huge like, oh boy, I'm gonna kickflip off something. Whereas before, I could roll up to something. I'm not saying I would like land a kickflip every try, but there's a different level where you feel comfortable with a trick that when you send it off something, you still feel like if things go wrong, you're gonna be okay. And that's not how I feel with my kickflips right now. And hopefully this tip can really help me get in the right body position so that I feel comfortable coming down. Even if I'm not necessarily gonna land the trick, I can still have the mental confidence to just go for it. So huge shout out to Dan Corrigan for that tip. Definitely recommend trying about thinking about getting that back foot up when you're going into kickflips. It worked for me. I'm curious to see if it'll work for you guys. Leave it in the comments below if you've tried this tip, or if you go and try it, let me know how it works, as I'm curious if this is something that can really be applied to everybody or if it just makes sense to a few people in our heads. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is gonna be the last video from St. George, Utah. On Monday I was supposed to start a new job, but the YouTube channel is growing and definitely not gonna replace my income quite yet. So I'm kind of holding my breath, and we're gonna be living off of savings for hopefully not that long, but we're taking the leap and going full-time with YouTube. So this week was St. George. Next week we'll probably be back in Salt Lake, but we're talking about going to California and doing some road trips and just trying to crank out the coolest videos that we can for you guys and see if we can get this channel to the point where, you know, I'm making as much money as I was before I decided to not work and go full-time on YouTube. So kind of a scary leap there, but you guys have been super great, super supportive of everything that we're doing. So I'm feeling really good about it, but at the same time, it's kind of scary, you know, the first time. It's like dropping in on a ramp. You just kind of, when you've never been there before, you don't know how it's gonna work out, but you just go for it. And yeah, hopefully it all works out. But thank you so much for subscribing, guys, liking the videos and commenting. If you want to see more, you can follow me on Instagram at @TheLocalJoe, and remember to make every single day a Friday. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.